It's a sibling pastime. I didn't do it, she did it. I didn't do it, he did it. We blame each other. It's easy for us to pass the buck, especially when we're caught red-handed. God is not a big fan of this. In fact, he does everything to protect his own glory, his own name, his own reputation. And in James chapter 1, as we've been studying as we go through, James actually warns us of this blame-shifting thing. Don't put your problem on God. Don't look and say, no, it wasn't me, it was him. James would warn us, don't ever dare do that to the name of the Lord God Almighty. So in verses 13 through 15, he says, let no one say when he's tempted, I'm being tempted by God. For God cannot be tempted with evil, and he himself tempts no one. But each person is tempted when he's lured away and enticed by his own desire. Then when it's conceived, it gives birth to sin. And when sin is finished, when it's fully grown, it brings forth death. Yes, God cares about the protection of his name. He cares about it so much that he will go to great lengths in order to protect his glory. But he also cares about the struggle that you and I find ourselves in. And he's warning us through James that blaming somebody else never helps. James is spelling out for us that there's this progression happening, and this progression always ends up with you and I on the short end of the stick. He says that my desires draw me away. It's the thing that I lust after that pulls me away. So the trap is baited towards my preferences. I always picture Elmer Fudd and Bugs Bunny, and Elmer Fudd thought he was pulling one on Bugs Bunny by putting a carrot on the plate, and the rope that was holding the stick was so obvious, and Bugs Bunny sees it, and he's like, well, all right, I'll play along. He was wise to what was going on, but he wanted to have this kind of cat and mouse game with Elmer Fudd. But you and I, we're not always so wise. Sometimes we won't realize we've taken the bait until the trap is fully fixed over us. This trap is baited with our preferences. And so James is saying you got to own some of this. You like this thing for whatever reason. And so the person who's trying to draw you away, or the personality, I should say, especially if it's Satan, is drawing you away based on those preferences. And when I act on those desires, most likely it's going to be sinful. You say, well, I don't know how to tell the difference. Sometimes I have very good desires, but they get me in trouble. So ask yourself this: what am I willing to have so badly, what I want to have so badly, that I'm willing to sin in order to have it? That would be the definition of an idol, and an idol is the thing that ends up on the plate underneath the trap, drawing us away. So James says when sin has done its work, when it's conceived its full life, what it leads to actually is death. And it's promising the opposite. It's saying, hey, eat this, take this, pursue this, and you'll have life. But it always brings about death. The trap eventually always falls. So this James passage is actually subtly kind of a gracious warning to not chase the illusion of sin, because it's going to kill us dead. But there's also some sympathy in the warning, because James understands that we're all drawn away by something. But the discipline of faith, if we exercise it time and time again, it will eventually prevent us from acting on that temptation, and therefore it will lead us to life, the life that God has promised to those who love him. God bless you, and we'll see you next time.